don't tell your story to convince people. You don't do it by pushing your message, raising your voice, or seeking confrontation. You're telling it to inspire others, to start a dialogue, to collaborate and jointly lead the way. Your way forward is here. This is Rethink's Night Out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And today is about questions. And the first question that I had was Bart. Bart said to me, "Would you like to come, Professor, and talk a little bit about it?" And I will be delighted. And he said, talk about ultra-high net worth individuals and research. And I thought to myself, hell no. You want to read my research, look at it. I tell you a story about my life. And my life always centers around two questions. What matters most to us? And why do we do the things we do? I have to make a confession. The first 20 years of my life, in my professional career, I was not a nice person. Child of the 80s. Gordon Gekko, I lived it, I breathed it. Greed is good. Want a friend? Get a dog. That was and it brought me very close to the mountaintop. Just one more step and I got what I wanted. CEO of a multinational. Got it all. Everything is right there for the grasp. And then what happens? Somebody else comes along, always when you not expect it. And it was this gentleman, Professor Malcolm Kirkbride, MBA program director, and he said, "Phil, you know what? You should become an academic." I'm like, what? For me, everything is right there. And he said, "Yeah, but you have ever thought what matters most to you? What is really important in your life?" And I thought about being a professor, and this was the image I had in mind. Like tweed jackets, leather patches, sitting in a nifty room talking about Shakespearean philosophy or whatever it is. But I contemplated. He set a seed in my brain. And I thought to myself, Jesus, he probably has something. Probably I should switch, turn my life around and do something that's completely different, but it makes me feel alive, or like this, a fish out of the water. And to be quite honest, when I encountered academia, I felt like a fish out of the water. I couldn't relate, I couldn't understand, but you know what? I thought to myself, all in. Let's do it. Let's take chances. And I went to the interview, the worst interview in my life. And I remember I said, you know what? If you want me at your PhD program, full bursary, full scholarship, everything that you have, but I need to know it by Monday. And surprise, surprise, I couldn't believe it. They said, yes, we will have you. And I thought to myself, where do I go from here? I'm 40 years old. There's the mountaintop waiting. And I decided, follow to what matters most to me. And this was the reaction of my friends, looking at me and saying, what are you thinking? Why would you do this? And again, it relates back to the question, what is really important to me? And from there on, I never looked back. And trust me, I'm enjoying every second of it. I work with some of the best, most creative, most interesting, and most intelligent people. One of them sitting in the audience here tonight, Annalisa. And I'm entirely grateful that I was given an opportunity, and they had an opportunity to reflect and think about what is important to me, what matters to me. And while others thought I was insane, I enjoyed it. Because before my life was about this. You know who that is? De La Soul. Biggest hit, Me, Myself and I. That was for the first 20 years. That was it. But now, everything changed. And you know what? Now I do it differently. And I get my kicks out of helping others, supporting others, mentoring others, give you success. And I never felt better. And you know what, Bart? Just for you, let's relate it to the ultra-high net worth individuals. Because one thing we always find out is, whenever I speak to them, they end with one thing. What do you regret the most? They said, Professor, what I really would have, I would love to have more quality time with my beloved ones. And you know what my jobs allows me? I have the most memorable experience and spend the most time in my life with my beloved ones. So for you, I encourage you, reflect. Think about what really matters most to you. Because sometimes life looks not straightforward. It's like a long, windy, uphill road. And you might think, where am I going? Why am I doing this? But you know what? I'm a biker. I'm a mountain biker. And one thing you learn in biking is, after every long and windy uphill comes a killer descent. And that's me, by the way. Good style too. Should whip it up a little bit. So I encourage you. You have the opportunity. Go back today, take a moment, think what really matters most to you. Because by now you know I'm a different kind of professor. Thank you.